Good afternoon, everyone. At least good afternoon for me. It just turned afternoon. It's 12:09 p.m. here on the west coast of the United States. I have absolutely no idea what time it is for you. It's all dependent on where you live, obviously. And I know that I do have an international viewer base, so welcome to all of you who are watching this live on stream. And of course, welcome to those who are watching this pre-stream video on demand on YouTube. I am Phil. Phil I am. Philium. That's my new name, Philium. And welcome to today's gameplay stream, which is going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be the premiere of Homefront the Revolution. And boy, do I have a story to tell you in regards to this game, because many people may not even realize the history that this game has been through. Okay? So, hello everyone and welcome. How you doing? How you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good today. I'm a little congested, mostly because of allergies. You know, it's the spring, and my allergies kick into high gear. I had to turn on the air conditioner. I think I'm gonna actually turn it off. Turn it just to fan for now, until maybe we get the stream going, and we'll see what temperature it is. The problem is that the sun is out today. So it beats on the front wall of my office during the afternoon hours, which heats it up like an oven. Okay? It's not very good for electronics. It's not very good for me, because I'm in here and it becomes 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and I start to sweat disgustingly. I stink. It's gross. So then I turn on the air conditioner, but then the air conditioner chills the thing down to like 70 degrees, and I'm cold. So I don't know what to do. But anyway, I digress. Welcome to today's gameplay stream. Today, together, here live on stream, we will be investigating Homefront the Revolution. So let me explain the background of this game very briefly for you, okay? Way back when, in March 2011, there was this game called Homefront, released by THQ. I forget the actual game studio that developed it at that point, but it was a company that was under license by THQ to make this unique first-person shooter. The game had two parts. It was a campaign that ranged anywhere from, say, 6 to 10 hours long, and then there was a multiplayer component. Now, I particularly remember Homefront because it had a unique story. North Korea invaded the west coast of the United States, ended up taking over several major cities, and the game takes place during this invasion. You're one of the resistance forces who's completely taken by surprise. You never expected to be invaded by North Korea, of all places. And I remember seeing some pretty gruesome things, okay, in the game, if you remember. Some pretty, torturous scenes of people being beaten down, shot, executed in the streets. It had a lot of emotional stuff in it because of that kind of stuff. And then I remember I actually liked the campaign, although I have to say that I remember at the very end of the campaign it dragged on a bit, and I didn't really like how that it was a little bit, I think it overstayed its welcome. But I think some of the stuff at the very beginning of the game was pretty much, like, jarring, emotionally jarring, and people for that reason kind of liked the game. Now, the multiplayer of the game, I remember, wasn't very good. The multiplayer really didn't have much original about it, and it wasn't much to write home about. So I actually remember when I reviewed the game, I was like, I really think the campaign was much better than the multiplayer, and it is worth at least a rental if you want to experience a pretty unique story in a first-person shooter campaign, okay? So now we have to cover 5 years, because in the past 5 years, holy shit, what's happened to this game? So even though the game didn't do insanely great in sales, it did okay. THQ decided that this was going to become one of their kind of franchises, and they wanted to make a sequel. So they started developing a sequel. Unfortunately, within a year or two, THQ went out of business. If you're not aware, THQ, the publisher, lost all their money and went out of business, probably because of a ton of bad ventures. If you remember, they had a bunch of franchises like Darksiders and a few others that were under their wing at the time. And for whatever reason, they didn't make enough money, or they spent too much money. Whatever it is, we don't know. We don't see the financials or whatever. They went out of business, and they went on basically a fire sale where they tried to sell all of their franchises off to make up some of the money that they owed. And one of the franchises that they sold was Homefront. They sold it to Crytek. Now, if you don't know who Crytek is, that's the game dev company that made games such as, oh god, what was it called? Oh god, it starts with a C. And it's the one that was exclusive on PC for a while. Oh god, why can't I? Oh, Crysis. Crysis, that's what it is. They made Crysis, another very popular first-person shooter franchise, at least for a little bit there. I think now, at this point, it's completely fallen out of favor, especially because Crysis 3 was one of the worst freaking games ever made. It really was, in my opinion. I hated Crysis 3. But I digress. Homefront got sold to Crytek, okay? Then guess what happened? Crytek kind of did a little shuffle around with the franchise, and then eventually the whole thing got bought out by Deep Silver. So if you don't know who Deep Silver is a company that has developed games such as Dead Island. Most recently, I believe, was it last year? They developed Dying Light, I believe. Or at least they were involved in the development of Dying Light as the publisher. So, interestingly enough, right, they take up the mantle of Homefront, and the game has changed completely. I did a little bit of research today online to try to figure this out, okay? So, Homefront, which used to be just kind of a standard first-person shooter campaign and a multiplayer aspect, has been completely revamped. Homefront: The Revolution is an open-world first-person shooter. We are going through 3 zones of this occupied city, and you're looking for components, you're crafting your own weapons on the fly, you're doing assassination missions, you're doing story-based missions, you're leveling up while you're doing all this. So this might sound familiar to you. It's actually almost the same premise as Dying Light last year. It's open world, you find components to craft things, to upgrade your abilities, you gain experience for doing side missions. It almost sounds to me like Dying Light. Only there's no zombies, now it's you versus these occupational, North Korean forces. So that sounds interesting to me. However, that certainly doesn't mean that it's good. Just because it's different doesn't mean that it's good. And that's got to be an emphasis that I place on here. I think that's one thing that we're going to definitely have to focus in on is different does not necessarily mean that it's something that's better or something that's worth playing. Okay? We'll see. I'm very interested. I liked the original Homefront, but being that this game now has been completely made different, right? Different game studio, different publisher, different game mechanics, different premise to the game. The only real thing that seems to me like it would be, similar to the original game is the plot line. So 5 years later, a pseudo sequel to a game comes out, and it's going to be completely different than the last. All right, we'll see today, firsthand together on stream, what is this game like? This is actually one of the streams that I really enjoy, because I don't know what to expect going into it. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad. We're going to judge together. Is this game worth everyone's while? This is one of the cool aspects of what I do. This is what makes me a lot different from what a lot of other people do, because we're going to be doing it raw. I'm not going to edit out stuff to make it look good. I'm not going to be scripting comedy bits over it and trying to entertain you every single moment. No, instead we're going to play the game here together, and we're going to collectively see, is this game worth playing? Is this game worth buying? Is it worth, your time? And that's the deal with me. That's how I've always covered games since 2008. That's been my hook. On release day, you want to see a game and you want to see it at face value, and if it's really good or if it's bad. And you know what? Here's the thing. If it's bad, it's bad. If it's bad, let's get through it. At least play it for a while. Now, I don't know if I'm going to play through the whole game if the game's terrible, but at least let's play it through it. And if there's stuff to laugh at and to make fun of, then we'll do it, right? Now, I'm not saying that that's how I'm going into this. I try to go into new games with an open mind. So there may be things I enjoy and things I don't enjoy. We'll see. That's how I approach things. But certainly, if the game is shit, I'm going to laugh at it and make fun of it, as I've done in the past. I guess we'll find out, right? We'll see. It's funny because here's the thing, everyone. I'm desperately out of room on my PlayStation 4. In fact, I'm going to show you right here on pre-stream. I'm going to show you something. Okay? If I go to System Storage Management, take a look at this. I have only 78 gigs. Oh, you actually can't see it. Hold on. I have only 78 gigs free on my PS4. That means at tops, right? At the most, I can maybe fit one more game. One more game onto my PS4's hard drive. That's it. Now take a look at the games that I currently have on my PS4, okay? Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, I currently still play with my girlfriend. So I'm not getting rid of that. Doom, I just completed the campaign. I want to keep playing the multiplayer because I really like it. Uncharted 4, I beat the campaign. I have no plans for multiplayer until maybe next month if I hit the Patreon goal for this month and we have the multiplayer event. So this I could temporarily remove if I need to and just re-download it later. That's okay. Street Fighter V, this is a game that's going to have all kinds of new content coming up in the next several months, including new characters, a story mode, so I can't get rid of that. Hitman, this is a game I can't get rid of because they're coming out with new episodic releases every single month. Call of Duty, can't get rid of that because of the zombie stuff coming out. So you see what I mean? Oh, and by the way, Witcher 3, its gigantic DLC is coming out in 2 weeks. And that DLC is supposed to be 20 gigs in size, supposedly, from what I've heard. Something like huge, if not bigger than that. So these are all games that I can't get rid of. The only game I can really remove right now, I think, is Uncharted. So I have no room on my PS4. So I'm going to play Homefront, and if it's good, I'll play through it. If it's crap, sorry, it's going to get the cut. Because like, the bottom line is, there's many other games coming out in the next few weeks. Just next week, we've got Overwatch and the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. The week after that, we've got that Witcher 3 DLC and One Piece Burning Blood. So, a lot of people are saying, well, why don't you just get, a bigger hard drive? I could get an external hard drive. I'm pretty sure with PS4, you could just plug it in, right? Isn't it just plug and play? You could plug in an external hard drive via USB 3.0 to your PS4. I might end up doing that because I have no room. And the bottom line is, with the way that games are now releasing, right? Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 constantly is adding new content, new characters, and there's going to be free expansions. Doom, I want to keep playing the multiplayer. Uncharted, I'm going to be playing multiplayer with viewers. Street Fighter V has new content. Hitman has episodic content. Call of Duty has DLC content. Witcher has DLC content. So I can't even get rid of this. You know what I mean? It's not like it used to be. It used to be, you get your game, you play it, it's done. You could delete everything off of your console until a DLC releases. Then you reinstall it, you get the DLC. It's not like that anymore. Now everything's episodic, right? So I don't know. I don't know what to do in regards to storage on my PS4 at this point. Now I see people screaming in the stream chat, you cannot use an external hard drive on PS4. Well, I don't want to mess around with it and open the fucking thing up and start swapping hard drives. So I don't know what I'm going to do. You see my dilemma. With all these games coming out, I have to pick and choose which ones I'm going to keep. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, today's gameplay stream will be Homefront the Revolution. I'll be playing this for around 3.5 hours. We'll get our first taste of it. Now, regardless if the game is absolutely bad, I may still play it tomorrow for another gameplay stream. So at least we get a few streams in there, and we can, okay, after you play it for 6-7 hours, now you can make a fair judgment, versus if I just rush through it for an hour, it's like, that's crap. I don't want to be unfair to it. Later tonight, I'm not sure what I'm doing right now, okay? Later tonight, I may do more Homefront, or I may play Doom multiplayer. I was actually supposed to play Doom multiplayer last night, and I didn't get a chance to do it because I actually was at the very end of the game, and I said, gee, rather than play multiplayer, let me just beat the game. So I did. And that's good, because I didn't want to have that lingering. I didn't want to have the campaign of Doom kind of, lingering there and not being completed. So I may do more Doom multiplayer tonight or not. I don't know. Now, tomorrow, like I said, I'll probably do more Homefront on stream. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be reviewing Doom, Because now I've beaten the campaign, I've played the multiplayer, I've seen all the content there is in Doom, and I'm going to be reviewing that tomorrow night. That'll be going live on KO Gaming. That's the channel where I put up all my reviews and impressions and edited content, okay? So that's tomorrow night. Thursday, we've got the premiere of Fallout 4 Far Harbor, the first major expansion and story-based DLC for Fallout 4. All reports are saying it's the largest DLC ever for any Fallout game, including all the DLCs that came out for Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. I am super pumped for this. Super duper pumped for this, honestly. I love Fallout 4. As you know, it was my game of the year of 2015. I did an extended playthrough, you know, hundreds of parts, to do all the content and side content and everything in the game. I absolutely had a blast with it, and I'm very much looking forward to returning to the game for this major DLC. I hope that it's as good as everyone's kind of saying it is. I hope it has as much content. I cannot wait to do the side stuff plus the story. I really hope that if you checked out or joined me for my Fallout 4 playthrough last year, that you're going to come back, you know what I mean, to check out this DLC. If it's more of that, I'm all for it. So hopefully you will. I definitely am looking forward to that quite a bit. Okay? So that's really it. I don't have too much else to talk about on pre-stream today. I'm excited to jump into Homefront and see what it's all about. So I hope you are too. I guess what I'll do, I'll give my quick gratuitous plugs segment. Alright? A quick gratuitous plug segment, and then we'll get started. So there are various ways that you can help me continue to be able to do daily live streams and on-demand videos. Most of you know, watching the video, spreading the word, social media at They Call Me DSP, right? I have an Amazon associate link in the description of all of my streams and videos, that if you live in the United States and you use that link before you shop on Amazon, I get some referral credit. You know that. The thing I want to emphasize today is Patreon, because 2 days ago I announced the new Patreon goal. The Patreon multiplayer event. If we hit my funding goal for this month, which I have hit every single month so far, I've hit a funding goal. I don't know if we'll hit it this month. There's 2 weeks left in the month. So if you're interested, patreon.com/DarkSidePhil. If I hit the funding goal for the month, everyone who pledges $5 or more to me in the month of May will have the opportunity to participate in a closed Patreon-only multiplayer event that will take place probably in early July at this point, I want to say. What it'll be is a couple days where I'm going to be playing multiplayer games with patrons. And it's going to be set up nicely where we'll have voice chat and everyone's actually going to be playing in a controlled environment without all that trolling that usually happens when I try to do open fan appreciation that I can't really control. Okay? Some of the games involved will be Street Fighter V, Overwatch, Doom, and Uncharted 4. Now, in the past day or two, I've actually gotten some feedback on my forums at thekingofhate.com, and some people said, well, Phil, you still have Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. Would you consider that? And my answer to that is absolutely. If there's enough people, let's say there's like 5-10 patrons who want to play this with me, I would 100% say absolutely I would love to play that. I love this game. I still play this with my girlfriend. So I would absolutely consider that. So I still have it. Yeah, that could definitely be added to the list. Now, some other people have said, well, Phil, what about some other games? What about games like Rocket League? What about games like this or this? And there's a ton of suggestions, all right? Bottom line is this. I can't promise every single game, because if I now make it an 8 to 10 game event, now you're talking how long is this event going to be? And realistically, how many patrons, you know, who pledge $5 are going to be able to play all these games, right? Probably not many. But I'm not going to write it off. In fact, right now, for April's patrons are nominating indie games that they're very shortly going to be voting on for me to play in a marathon that's going to take place in early June. It's probably going to be around June 2nd or 3rd at this point. That's what it's looking like. It's going to be one of those final days of kind of the end of May, early June, but it's probably going to be one of those few days, okay? And in those games, there's actually a couple, I think Rocket League actually got nominated as a game in there. So let me put it this way. If I'm already going to be playing a game like Rocket League in the Indie Marathon, and I have it, and I've played it, and I have like a background for it, that could be added to the list of games as well. Okay? So that's the deal. Is the goal this month for Patreon is if we hit the funding level for this month, patrons who pledge $5 or more will be able to participate in this multiplayer event. And I know I don't have dates set yet, but the bottom line is that's what I need. I need feedback. Everyone who pledges the $5 or more is going to be able to vote on, what day they'd be able to play in July, and also, what games they'd like to participate in. I'm going to have this all set up on the forums in a thread where there'll be a poll, and you'll be able to post up what games you're interested in playing me in. And, it's going to be a fun thing where all June we set it up so that it really turns out to be successful in July, hopefully. Okay? So it's something very different. This is something very different, and I've never done it before. I want to see if it could be successful. All right? I can tell you this right now. Right now, we haven't hit the goal. A bunch of people who had really big pledges last month have, thank God, and I'm happy that they did this, they reduced their pledges over the past couple of days. There were a couple of people who had really large pledges, and they reduced them, and that's good, because that allows me now to see, okay, we're not there yet. I believe right now we're around $100 to $150 away from the goal. So if, say, 30 people are excited and are like, man, I always wanted to play Phil in a multiplayer game, but whenever he has these fan appreciation events, either I never get in, I try and I never get in, or, some asshole troll ruins the whole fucking thing for everyone, and it just ends up not being very fun. This is your opportunity, finally, to get some kind of a reward for being a patron. So please consider pledging at patreon.com/DarksidePhil. In addition to the fact that, this is a goal, you also get personal perks like text or verbal thank yous in my videos. You can also get your questions answered on my bi-monthly Q&A show, Ask the King, which should be returning in June. In addition, you can also have a private Q&A video made. And in fact, on Sunday night, I made 2 of these for patrons. And one patron got back to me immediately and said, wow, that was great. Really enjoyed the video. You went above and beyond what I expected. That's what I love to hear. That's what I love to hear, that people are enjoying the perks. So definitely consider pledging if you have not. And I certainly hope that we hit the goal and we can do this new event. I'm looking forward to the next event, which is that indie marathon. Okay? Lots of fun stuff in regards to Patreon, right? So thank you to those who have pledged. Let me put it to you this way. Even if you can't do the $5 pledge, man, I really, I'd like to help Phil, but I can't afford $5. As little as $1 helps. I want you to understand that. As little as $1 helps. The most successful people who have Patreon, it's because they have a ton of people who give a tiny bit. And right now, the largest category by far of people who've pledged to my Patreon are $1 pledges. So please consider doing it if you haven't. It certainly helps me out. All right? All right, everyone. That is it. I want to say thank you very much for watching. It is now time for us to begin with Homefront the Revolution. We'll see if it's any good here together. All right? Thanks for being a little patient during the pre-stream, and now we shall start it up. Here we go.